Hello, everyone, and welcome to our quick presentation of the assignment that we did. Myself, Pawan Motgi, and we have our team members Neha, Snehal, and Gabriela. That's a quick introduction about ourselves. Next slide, please. Right. So to begin with our analysis, there were a few packages that we had to import, and we have our usual packages such as pandas, numpy, etc. Apart from that, we also used a package known as Alter, which is used for interactive statistical visualizations. So we have done a graph on that towards the very end. Next slide, please. Right. So once we imported our package, the first thing was to create our dataset, that is the .csv file. And to generate that, we use the draw_line functionality from the drawdata package, wherein we just created this small little graph which shows our team name, our introduction, and the ships that we have in our fleet. And that's it. I'll hand it over to Gabriela for the next set of presentation.
Thank you. So after we created our data, as Pavan just said, Hello Fleet and the ships, we downloaded it as a CSV file. And then after that, we imported it and created a data set into a data frame called Fleet. The data frame has 3,594 rows and 3 columns, and there are no new values within those rows. And we also changed the column names from X, Y, and Z, which was the standard, into cargo weight, kilometers, and ships. And on the right side of the screen, you can see we have some stats on the data. We have count, mean, standard deviation, and a few other statistics we can look at for our variables. When we plot the data into scatter plot, we can see that it looks quite similar to what we drew at the draw data, which makes sense, and I'm glad it did. And we can see clearly Hello Fleet and the ships we drew. And we have kilometers on the y-axis and cargo weight on the x-axis. In order to visualize the data a little better, we also decided to do some aggregations. And over here, you can see the number of trips per ship over 5 years. And we can see that ship A has clearly more trips than any others. So we have 1,300 for A, and D has the least amount with 180.
So the next plot talks about the total amount of cargo each ship carried over the 5 years. And here we can see that ship C carried the highest cargo. And in the following plot, we have visualized the number of kilometers each ship has traveled over the years. And here we can see that ship B has traveled the most. And in the next plot, by comparing the cargo and the distance traveled, we have visualized that. And although we can see that ship C is the second most traveled ship, it has carried the most cargo over the years. And in addition to that, ship D has traveled the least and carried least amount of cargo. Snehal will continue and explain the rest of the plots.
Thank you, Neha. So in this plot, we have basically wanted to understand more of the relationship and how the correlation of the ship and the kilometers traveled by a particular ship happens in the ship of fleet. So this is what we've done using the pair plot to understand the relationship between the variables that we had in our data set. And in the next plot, we wanted to do more of the statistical visualization where we see the real-time data when the ships are traveling and how the distance is covered so that we understand more and gets more depth in the breadth of the visualization. And in the next slide, we can see that as we have mentioned here, the data was the packet that we have used, which was draw data, and the function that we have used from draw data, which is drawline, which was quite intuitive to use. It was quite user-friendly as well because the reason why we mentioned this is because you don't have to struggle a lot for things to understand, and it was quite straightforward. from our analysis, from the data set that we have created, we have found that ship D was new in our fleet and it has less kilometers traveled. And it also has its a less number of cargo shipments. The visualization with draw data was definitely new for our team, but then we did not find any sort of issues while working with this team. So I'll do a quick walkthrough of the code so that you get a quick analysis of what we have done and how we have done. This was, we've created the drawing, then we have imported the data. There was a data set that we have retrieved. We've quickly tweaked the variables that we had to add a little substance to the data set we have so that we can create a story. Like you can see, X for cargo weight, Y for kilometers, and Z for ships. So we also did, this was our drawing initially, which we had, and that's how the with the scatter plot, that's how it comes. And then we have number of trips taken. So this was a couple of aggregations that we have covered in our code. Like you can see the cargo weight which was carried by each ship. So we focused here the data of over 5 years, and your kilometers traveled by ship over the 5 years. Here we have done a quick comparison of the distance traveled by each ship and the cargo carried. Here you can see that the aggregated sum of different numeric columns by ships. Then in the next plot here, we have used pair plot. What it does is basically creates a grid, and you can also see that it shows the ships of fleet and the kilometer cargo weight and the kilometers covered by ships. So, and in this plot, you can see we have used Altair, which actually gives an interactive visualization, which helps in interactive visualization. So this plot basically, we have used repeat function here. Like I'll just quickly highlight it. This is a repeat function that we have used for 2 rows and 2 columns for interactive visualization. So when I add this interactive, what it does is when I hover each data points, it shows me how and what was covered here. And yeah, this was our analysis and visualization that we have did with Hello Fleet Ship of Fleets. Thank you.